College English Test, Band 4. Part 2, Listening Comprehension. Section A. Directions. In this section, you will hear 3 news reports. At the end of each news report, you will hear 2 or 3 questions. Both the news report and the questions will be spoken only once. After you hear a question, you must choose the best answer from the 4 choices marked A, B, C, and D. Then mark the corresponding letter on answer sheet 1 with a single line through the center. Questions 1 and 2 will be based on the following news item.
Hundreds of thousands of people across France have taken to the streets to demonstrate against President Nicolas Sarkozy's plans to raise the retirement age. Trade unions say nearly 3 million people turned out in scores of demonstrations, but the government says less than 1 million people took part. It's the 3rd day of protests in the past month. The pension reform goes before the upper house of Parliament, the Senate, on Tuesday, with President Sarkozy insisting that its central provision, raising the minimum retirement age by 2 years to 62, is non-negotiable. According to the government, the only way that the French pension system can remain economically practical, given longer life expectancy, is that people work for more years. However, opponents, including the Socialist Party, say the changes are unjust and that the pension system can be preserved if higher taxes are imposed on financial institutions and on the better off.
Question 1. What's the minimum retirement age in France before Sarkozy's plan? Question 2. According to the opponents, whose interest should be protected?
Questions 3 and 4 will be based on the following news item.
Some American schools pay teachers more if their students improve on tests. Now, there is a growing movement to pay the students, in some cases, even just for coming to class. Schools that pay students can be found in more than 1/4 of the 50 states. Other schools pay students with food or other rewards. Last year, the city schools in Coshocton, Ohio, launched a program. They wanted to see if paying elementary school students as much as $100 would help in passing state exams. Now, Eric Bettinger of Case Western Reserve University has reported mixed results. Math scores increased, but only while students were able to get paid, and there was no evidence of higher scores in reading, social studies, and science. Officials will decide later this year whether to continue the program.
Question 3. What should American students do to get paid from schools? Question 4. What's the result of the program to pay students?
Questions 5 to 7 will be based on the following news item.
As struggling airlines add extra luggage fees and travelers worry about growing security restrictions, services like Luggage Forward and Luggage Free have emerged as ways to avoid the troubles of checking bags. While typically seen as a luxury, more Americans are using such options for run-of-the-mill trips. The idea behind the luggage delivery services is to make traveling as headache-free as possible. Customers load up their suitcases as usual, with no special packaging needed. Shipping slips for luggage are mailed to them. A pickup time is scheduled, usually for a 2-hour window. If the bags are being sent to a hotel, the hotel worker will typically call customers to let them know their belongings have arrived. Rates vary depending on the weight, distance, and speed of the delivery. The new luggage delivery services promise to provide greater convenience by helping customers clear customs, track packages, and pick up luggage at home. Still, the price can add up for a big order. But compared to the mess it would have caused at the airport, the price was worth it, said Kolodny, a 45-year-old resident of Great Neck, New York.
Question 5. What is the main idea of the news report? Question 6. How long can luggage be preserved in the new delivery services? Question 7. What is the major drawback to the new luggage delivery services?
Section B. Directions. In this section, you will hear 2 long conversations. At the end of each conversation, you will hear 4 questions. Both the conversation and the questions will be spoken only once. After you hear a question, you must choose the best answer from the 4 choices marked A, B, C, and D. Then mark the corresponding letter on answer sheet 1 with a single line through the center. Conversation 1.
Excuse me, Dr. Tyler. Your secretary said I should come right in.
Please do, Jenny. How can I help you?
I need to get your signature on my schedule card here, on the line above advisor's approval.
Sure, but let's look it over together first. How many courses do you have here?
6.
6. That's quite a heavy load. Any particular reason?
I had to drop my chemistry course last semester when I went into the hospital, so I need to take it again.
So you've already learned a lot of the material.
Right. And calculus is a part of the second-year requirement.
Let's see. Chemistry, calculus. Oh, I see you'll be in my seminar on the modern American novel.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. And the romantic poetry seminar, too.
2 seminars? That is rather a lot. Can you handle the work?
I think so. The introductory economics is fairly easy, and so is the music course.
Well, then I'll be happy to sign the card. However, I insist that you come and see me after the first week of classes, so we can make sure this isn't too much for you.
That's a promise.
Questions 8 to 11 are based on the conversation you have just heard.
Question 8. Which grade is the student in? Question 9. Why has Jenny come to see Dr. Tyler? Question 10. What does Dr. Tyler seem to be most concerned about? Question 11. Which course hasn't Jenny taken?
Conversation 2.
Hi, how can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to return this sweater for a refund. I bought it a week ago.
Well, first of all, what seems to be the problem?
Well, isn't it obvious by just looking at it? The first time I washed and dried it, the thing shrank at least 5 sizes. It wouldn't even fit a snake.
I see what you mean, but did you follow the washing instructions? I think it says here, yeah, right here on the label to hand wash it and then to dry it on low heat.
How was I supposed to know that? The label is written in Chinese. And something else. The color faded from a nice dark blue to a seaweed green. What kind of merchandise are you trying to sell here anyway?
Listen, sir, we take a lot of pride in our clothing. What I can do is allow you to exchange the sweater for another one.
I don't want to exchange it for anything. I just want my money back.
Well, I can give you credit on your next purchase, and since the item you purchased was on clearance, we can't give you a refund.
A clearance item? There wasn't anything on the price tag or on the clothing rack that said anything about that.
I guess you didn't read the fine print in our ad. Look, here's the ad, and the information about the clearance sale is right here at the bottom on the back page.
Where? There? What? That's small print. You need an electronic microscope to see those words.
Questions 12 to 15 are based on the conversation you have just heard.
Question 12. What's the purpose of the man returning to that store? Question 13. What is one reason why the man wants to return the item? Question 14. What is one reason why the sales clerk can't help the customer with his request? Question 15. Why couldn't the man see the information about the clearance sale?
Section C. Directions. In this section, you will hear 3 passages. At the end of each passage, you will hear some questions. Both the passage and the questions will be spoken only once. After you hear a question, you must choose the best answer from the 4 choices marked A, B, C, and D. Then mark the corresponding letter on answer sheet 1 with a single line through the center. Passage 1.
The secret of a long and happy marriage appears to be not to expect too much from it. Far better, U.S. researchers say, to aim low, to ensure you are not disappointed. The key to keeping that newlywed glow appears to be forgiveness and communication. The study by researchers from Ohio and Florida universities looked at 82 couples. They quizzed all the spouses independently over 4 years. Writing in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, researchers led by James McNulty, professor of psychology at Ohio University, said, in contrast to the idea that expectations in the early years of marriage exert main effects on satisfaction, the current findings suggest that the effects of expectations interact with the skills partners bring to their relationships. The study also found that people tend to select like-minded partners who they believe will be able to maintain a stable relationship. The finding contradicts the old belief that opposites attract. Instead, the U.S. researchers said people looking for long-term relationships should select partners who are similar to themselves, rather than seeking out the highest quality partner available.
Questions 16 to 18 are based on the passage you have just heard. Question 16. What is the key to a happy marriage according to the study? Question 17. How many people are investigated in the study? Question 18. Which is the belief of the researchers?
Passage 2.
Do you have a tough math test coming up? Then listen to some classical piano music just before the test. You might end up with a higher score. Researchers at a university in California conducted an experiment. They asked a group of college students to listen to some piano music by a famous 18th century composer before taking a math test. They were surprised to find that the students' scores jumped 8 to 9 points. The music seems to excite nerve activities in the brain similar to the activity that occurs when a person is figuring out a math problem. However, the scientists warn that before you get too excited about applying this method to your math test, you should remember that brain-exciting effects last only 10 to 15 minutes. Would rock music work as well as the piano music did? No, the scientists say. In fact, the less complex music might even interfere with the brain's reasoning ability. Questions 19 to 21 are based on the passage you have just heard. Question 19. What is this passage mainly about? Question 20. Why can classical music play a positive role in problem solving? Question 21. What is one of the findings of the research?
Passage 3.
Where is the university? Is the question many visitors to Cambridge ask, but no one could point them in any one direction because there is no campus. The university consists of 31 self-governing colleges. It has lecture halls, libraries, laboratories, museums, and offices throughout the city. Individual colleges choose their own students, who have to meet the minimum entrance requirements set by the university. Undergraduates usually live and study in their colleges, where they are taught in very small groups. Lectures and laboratory and practical work are organized by the university and held in university buildings. There are over 10,000 undergraduates and 3,500 postgraduates. About 40% of them are women, and some 8% from overseas. As well as teaching, research is of major importance. Since the beginning of the 20th century, more than 60 university members have won Nobel Prizes. The university has a huge number of buildings for teaching and research. It has more than 60 specialized subject libraries, as well as the university library, which, as a copyright library, is entitled to a copy of every book published in Britain. Examinations are set and degrees are awarded by the university. It allowed women to take the university exams in 1881, but it was not until 1948 that they were awarded degrees.
Questions 22 to 25 are based on the passage you have just heard. Question 22. Why is it difficult for visitors to locate Cambridge University? Question 23. What does the passage tell us about the colleges of Cambridge University? Question 24. What can be learned from the passage about the libraries in Cambridge University? Question 25. What does the passage say about women students in Cambridge University?
This is the end of listening comprehension.